Hello, Dr. Lego fans. This is me, Dr. Lego Man, bringing you the first of 3 random pod episodes about 3 Doctor Who spin-offs. This one, if you haven't guessed, is about Sarah Jane Adventures. Next week will be about Wizards vs. Aliens, and the week after that will be Torchwood. So, let's get to it. Now, Sarah Jane Adventures, I think, is one of the most successful things to come out of Doctor Who, because it's about one of the most loved companions of Doctor who gets her own TV show, and sort of introduced her to a new generation without watching School Reunion hours on end, and this was a big hit. And when I was younger, I was about 7 when this came out, I loved it, because I was a massive Doctor Who fan. I was about my favourite TV show and still is. So, something that carries on from that, like a former companion that has her own adventures, I love that idea. And the thing is about the Sarah Jane Adventures, Sarah Jane doesn't have a TARDIS, she can't travel in time, and she could only go up into space when aliens get her on a spaceship. So, the thing is, when that happens, you've got to make the characters the most important thing, and I found that really important, the characters and the aliens and their plans and the designs of the aliens and the alien spaceships. So they had to make each story really unique, because it was set on Bannerman Road and mostly around Ealing. So when Lost in Time came about, that was really the first episode where they actually went back in time and were on their own. So we practically got 3 stories in one. So I'll talk about some. And unfortunately, after the death of Elizabeth Sladen, they had to cut series 5 in half. So we never got to what would probably been the best episode of Sarah Jane Adventures ever, which would have been the Battle of Bannerman Road, which would have seen the return of the Trickster. And to be honest, the Trickster was my favourite villain, because he's one that feeds on chaos, and the Doctor is always saying, oh, don't mess with time, don't get tempted into that sort of thing. But when he's not there and there's an alien that will force you to choose between messing with time or keeping it how it is, episodes with him were really interesting, and especially the wedding of Sarah Jane Smith, which saw the Doctor go up against the Trickster in a sort of showdown, and gave some foreshadowing for the end of time. And they also brought some Doctor Who villains to the episode, like the Slovene, Sontarans, and they brought Commander Karg, which was a nice continuation from Sontaran Stratagem and Poison Sky, because it had Commander Karg, the only survivor of the ship blowing up, crash on Earth, and Sarah Jane had to deal with it. And it also had the Blaverine, which was basically the Slovene's cousin that had been mentioned in Doctor Who, but the fact that they were orange Slovene, some people said that was lazy. I didn't. I liked that idea, because they were practically the same race, only different. And the Shan Sheaf as well. That was in the 2nd episode with the Doctor in, which had the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, in the Death of the Doctor, and I loved that episode, because Matt Smith, if you don't know, is my favourite Doctor, and having those two, like Sarah Jane already knew the Doctor regenerated in 10th Doctor, so that having her deal with the fact that Doctor's regenerated, and seeing Jo's reaction, especially when she said, I know he can regenerate, but into a baby's, which was quite hilarious. But the sad fact that Series 5 got cut in half, The Man Who Never Was meant to be a normal episode, but it ended up being the series final. And it actually worked and served that purpose. It really did, and Sarah Jane Adventures is a really good example of what you can do when you do a spin-off right, because it's set on Earth. Sarah Jane has K9 and Mr. Smith, which is a giant alien computer, and a bunch of friends. And they just go on adventures, and every episode seemed to be unique, even when it had the Trickster in, or again a series after he came back, or Slovenian twice in one series. Every one seemed unique, and no matter which villain it was, no matter if Sarah Jane existed or not, or if it would have, Series 5 would have carried on, Sarah Jane Adventures, in my opinion, is the best Doctor Who spin-off. Or it's one way to get kids into Doctor Who, because it shows what companions do after the Doctor's left, and I love that. So next week I will be doing Wizards vs Aliens. So hope you watch that. Put in the comments what you'd like to see, and I hope you put some comments on what you'd like to see, and tell me what is your favourite Doctor Who spin-off. And I'll see you next week, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Go watch some episodes of Sarah Jane Adventures if you haven't already seen them. I recommend you do it. So that's it from me. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.